welcome to Kerosi TV. Today we are starting a new segment which will be mostly tackling more about news. We will be covering what's happening around the world, especially human interest stories from Kenya and all over the world. So we hope this is going to be an interesting segment, and this is episode 1 of GK News. So we'll call it GK News, and I will be your host, Geoffrey Kerosi. So in our first segment, we have a number of stories. I think we have 6 stories, which we will cover in this segment. And the first story is on Thailand and the politics which is happening there. The second story will be on Mexico, a journalist who was killed while he was taking his breakfast. The third story we will talk about Assam Tea. The fourth story is about preliminary findings from the basic income experiment in Finland. And finally, the second last is residents stone the president's house in Haiti. And the very final story, actually the final one, is that 9 people have died in India due to consumption of illegal brew. So don't think people only die in Kenya and Africa from taking illegal brew. So let us start with the first story. It's about Thailand politics. Last Friday, Ubolratana or Ubolratana, Rajakanya, Sirivadhana, that's the name of a person, it's really complex, is a sister of the King of Thailand. And she has applied to become a candidate for Prime Minister in the upcoming elections. King Maha, Vajiralongkorn, these are very strange words. Let us call him King Maha, who is a brother to Sister Ubolratana, was not happy at all about that decision of his sister to vie for the seat of the Prime Minister in the country. He said that nominating his sister could be inappropriate and unconstitutional. He added that members of the royal family are above politics, which means that members of the royal family in Thailand should not participate in politics. Moving on, our second news story is that Mexico journalist was killed while taking breakfast at a restaurant. A journalist by the name Eugenio Ramos Rodriguez, a Mexican journalist, was enjoying his breakfast at a restaurant in the city of Tabasco on Saturday morning when he was shot dead. He becomes the second journalist to be murdered in the year 2019, and remember we are in February. The late journalist was a host of a radio talk show which was heard 2 times a day in Mexico. The authorities in Tabasco are conducting their investigations in relation to the murder. Human rights advocates and journalists are the key targets in Mexico, more especially when they investigate and report on corruption and organized crime. According to the Reporters Without Borders, 9 journalists were killed in 2018 in Mexico. So this is one of those countries where it is very dangerous for you to become a journalist. But as we know, journalism is not a crime. The third story, we are moving on to Assam Tea. Assam is a state in India which produces a lot of tea. So some of the facts about this tea production in India. 1, India is the second largest producer of tea in the world after China. So when we are producing tea here in Kenya, in Kericho, in Bomet, and maybe Kisii and many other places, we should remember that India is the second largest producer of tea in the world, followed actually after China. So China is the largest, followed by India. And then the second point is that Assam tea is the world is famous for its aroma. You know, aroma. Aroma is that kind of the smell from from tea, from food, from beverages. The smell, nice smell from food. If someone is cooking in his kitchen, then we talk about the aroma. About its strong aroma and flavor. The third fact about Assam tea is that Assam is the largest tea producing state in India, and it is home to over 800 tea plantations. The tea exports from Assam generates an income of 250 million every financial year. This favorite tea ends up in the cups all over the world in places such as London, Beijing, Tehran, Washington, D.C., and New York, among other global cities. India is also one of the largest consumers of tea, representing 19% of all tea consumed globally. Finally, about Assam tea and the tea production in India, Tata Global Beverages and Hindustan Unilever Limited are some of the biggest tea companies around the world. Moving on to news item number 4, preliminary findings from basic income experiment in Finland. And in this news item, we shall give you some of the findings which have been seen out of a pilot project whereby people were being given money, which is called basic income experiment. And Finland was the first European country to do this experiment. So some of the findings. On January 2017, Finland started a 2-year pilot experiment on basic income. Through the pilot project, the country gave 2,000 randomly selected unemployed people $636 every month with no strings attached, meaning no one could ask you what you will do with the money. You know, $636 is approximately 63,000 Kenyan shillings. So this means that they were not asked any questions on how they will use the money. Critics or the architects of the pilot project had hoped that the experiment could spur the participants to work hard and earn more income. But critics have said that the basic income could cut the incentives for people to apply for employment, which makes sense because after all, if you have a regular income from the basic income experiment, then what will push you to look for a job, for example? What will push you to go to work? There is nothing which will push you. So according to critics, giving people money without doing any work, giving people money without telling them how to use that money will cut the incentives for those people to apply for employment. Finally, Finland, as we have already said, is the first European country to implement this experiment. And it is believed that in future, due to automation, all jobs will be taken away by machines, by robots, and people will remain without work. The owners of inputs of production like labor, capital, and land will be making a lot of profits, but they will not have employees to pay. So that is the argument that we should have basic income for everyone. That is, all people are paid some basic amount every month for their own use, because all jobs in our industries will be taken away by robots and other automation mechanisms. So basically, those are the initial findings from the basic income experiment in Finland. They have discovered that, or according to that experiment, is that those 2,000 people in the experiment, in the pilot project, are living a better life than those who are not in the project or in the pilot project. This is something which is yet to be seen, but the problem is that those who are in the program do not have any incentives which will force them to look for jobs. Article or news number 5. Residents stoned the president's house. It is unimaginable. This was not a dream. It happened in the country of Haiti or Haiti. The president's house in Haiti was stoned by protesters over alleged rampant corruption and economic mismanagement. Reports indicated that at least one demonstrator died during the clash between police and protesters. The demonstrations have been happening for the last 3 days, and the organizers have promised that they would do more demonstrators. Actually, they promised that they could do more demonstrators today, which is Sunday, 10th of February 2019. The demonstrators have put a lot of pressure on the president, Jovenel Moise, who has called for dialogue with the opposition. The citizens who are protesting were reportedly angered by the ever-growing inflation. Inflation is the growth of general prices of goods and services, where you find a bread which is costing 50 shillings, it grows the price to 100 shillings. That is inflation, 100% inflation. And the government failed to prosecute corrupt people in the country. So there were two problems. There was inflation. Number two, the government was not willing to prosecute corrupt people in the country of Haiti or Haiti. That was news according to abcnews.com. Our final news item will be read by my co-host. I want to introduce our co-host today.
So 39 people have been reported dead in India due to consumption of illegal brew. At least 39 people have been reported dead in India due to consumption of illegal brew, and 27 others have been reported sick as a result of that. Now, the liquor in question is reported to have a substance by the name methanol. And several villages in northern India have been affected by the same. On Saturday, a senior police officer by the name Ashok Kumar told the media that at least 26 people in the state of Uttar Pradesh had died after consuming the illegal liquor. An additional 13 people had died in the state of Uttarakhand because of the same alcohol or the illegal liquor. Ashok Kumar said that the victims who consumed the illegal liquor, that happened during customary functions on Thursday night. The authorities conducted investigations and a postmortem, and it was discovered that the liquor had toxic methanol. The policemen have arrested 8 suspects, and that includes 35 officials, out of which 12 are policemen or are police officers. Deaths as a result of consuming illegal liquor are quite common in India because the poor people cannot afford the licensed brands because they are expensive. Just like the rest of the world, illegal brew is cheap and in most cases is spiked with chemicals such as pesticides and so as to increase its potency. Now, in Kenya, it is alleged that illegal alcohol is spiked with fertilizer and or the drug that is used to preserve dead bodies at the mortuaries around the country. The illegal liquor industries is attractive because illegal breweries never pay taxes to the government, so end up making a lot of money or profits. So that's all for today.
The final segment of today's news is a new word which we are introducing, which is used in the news. We will be adding one new word. So every news segment, you will be running about one new word. We can call it vocabulary every day on every news episode. And today's word is bootleg. Bootleg means, according to the dictionary, it's a noun. It means alcoholic liquor unlawfully made, sold, or transported without registration or payment of taxes. It also means the part of a put that covers the leg, but that's not what we want to deal with today. It can also mean something as a recording made, reproduced, or sold illegally or without authorization. That is put leg, like one word. As you can see on the screen, is put leg. A noun. It can also be a verb used with an object. Put-legged. You can say put-legging, to deal in liquor or other goods unlawfully. To deal in liquor or other goods unlawfully. So if you are an illegal brewer, you are making illegal brew which is not recognized by the state, you do not have permission to make liquor or alcohol, for example changa or kangara or another traditional brew, including munasi, and you are not licensed by the government, then you are doing what we call put-legging. It can also be used as a verb, and as a verb, put-legging can mean to make, to transport, or to sell something, especially liquor, illegally or without registration or payment of taxes. So it has three meanings: as a verb, as a noun, and actually two, that's as a verb and as a noun. If you are dealing with liquor or other goods unlawfully, without license, without registration, without payment of taxes, then you are put-legging. As a noun, it is put-leg, which is alcoholic liquor unlawfully made, sold, or transported without registration or payment of taxes. So you make your illegal liquor in your rural home, for example in Meru, in Kisii, in Homa Bay, in Bomet, in Kericho, and transport it to Nairobi for sale. Then you are put-legging. Put-leg is a noun, put-legging is a verb, and a verb is a doing word. What you are doing is put-legging, but the liquor itself is put-leg. Thank you very much. Up to that point, we come to an end of today's GK News. It is me, your host, Geoffrey, and my co-host, Odongo, for today. Thank you very much.